Citadel Hedge fund billionaire Ken Griffin thinks that the AI community is making a terrible mistake by spreading hype about the new tech. He specifically is talking about generative AI. And I found this article very interesting because he begins to highlight some of the things that we have been talking about on our channel the past couple of videos. And so without further ado, let's just jump right into it. I'm excited to go through this one today. Ken Griffin, the hedge fund billionaire, is simply one of the biggest names in finance. His Citadel Hedge fund had a record-breaking $16 billion return last year when many were wrong-footed by a brutal bear market. Now AI has the market soaring, but Griffin is again twisting where others are turning. I do think the AI community is making a terrible mistake by being full of hype on the near-term implications of generative AI, he said at an internship kickoff event in Fort Lauderdale on Tuesday. I think they're actually doing everybody a huge disservice with the level of hype they are creating. This is something that we've talked about in multiple videos. We've talked about whether or not the hype is warranted or not, and really the adaptability of generative AI on a broader scale in a broader market. Right now, obviously, tech companies are embracing it tremendously, and I hear through grapevines certain employees using generative AI for various things within companies, but I have not seen massive companies on a major scale adopt it outside of like IBM, who's making aggressive moves to adopt it. The hype is clear to see. Mark Andreessen, a billionaire just as prominent as Griffin, but in the venture capital space, wrote a 7,000-word manifesto the same day as Griffin's comments about how AI will save the world. In fact, he said it could be greater than sliced bread. AI is quite possibly the most important and best thing our civilization has ever created, certainly on par with electricity and microchips, and probably beyond those. So it's very clear to see where Mark Andreessen is coming from Andreessen, that you can see, they're very excited about it, obviously calling it the best thing ever since sliced bread. But for his part, Griffin addressed a popular prediction about generative AI these days that it will make a ton of jobs, especially of the white-collar variety, obsolete. He said the threat of white-collar job culling is exaggerated because ChatGPT and its like are still not accurate enough to do most professional work. And I agree with this. I do think that this is accurate. We did go through a list of 10 jobs that generative AI will definitely affect, that from another article, and there was a bunch of jobs listed on there that I just don't agree with. I don't think it's ever going to get that far. You should check that video out. There are some of them that were accurate. Obviously, the top one is programming, which he does. Ken Griffin does get into that later on in this article. One of the jobs that was listed in that other article was teaching. Like, they actually legitimately think that teachers could potentially become obsolete on that, and there's just no way. This is one of those white collar jobs. It's like, no, that's never going to happen. Not with where it's at. It's going to take years. We are so far away from that. It's never going to happen. If you listen to the CEOs of tech companies, it's going to eliminate millions of white-collar jobs, Griffin said. I say not that fast. Some professions are accepting of errors, but you have to be really accurate in finance. You have to be really accurate as a lawyer. Griffin may have been alluding to the recent instance of a lawyer submitting a brief that he prepared with the help of AI, only to find in court that it cited non-existent case law. That sucks. That was something we had talked about in another article, the lawyer that had submitted, and I think they said it had 6 case citings that were completely fabricated. And so that was something that had to be addressed by the judge, and that lawyer is facing repercussions. But I absolutely believe that he is right. And he says the hallucination problem, this is something that we had pointed out. To be sure, Andreessen may well be right that AI is the most significant technological breakthrough since the internet, or maybe ever. But to Griffin's point, it has major issues. AI commonly fabricates information and presents it as real, something that techies refer to as hallucinations. Generative AI is a text predictor, which puts together words via a sophisticated algorithm trained on internet content. It has no way of ensuring the veracity of its statements, which is why it can't compete with many real professionals right now, according to Griffin. Totally agree. The hallucination problem is a big one. And in fact, if you listen to the articles of them talking about them trying to fix the hallucination problem, it's very clear to see that they have not been able to nail down why it's happening or how to stop it, really, or how to prevent it. And that's something that we're still waiting to see them actually fix. I don't know if it's something that they're ever going to be able to fix, and it could be a crutch on the growth of the generative AI model, ChatGPT. Now they're still fixing it. It could get fixed. It really could. It has possibility of getting fixed. I mean, you have a lot of very intelligent people there working on it, but I would tell you, as long as they can't fix that and they can't iron out the bugs in that, I think that the market-wide adoption of using generative AI tools for people that don't fully understand it, but the companies are trying to use it, is going to be halted in that way. However, the one thing I want to say to Griffin's point is that how many jobs need to be taken by generative AI to have a massive impact in the space, because obviously one of the big ones is computer programming and all that kind of stuff, and he actually gets right into this right here. So people shouldn't panic about losing their jobs, Griffin said, unless they're coders. Professions that require high attention to detail and accuracy are shielded by AI's current fickleness, but tech jobs are at high risk, Griffin said. A turning point for computer work is fast approaching, and young coders would be wise to adapt accordingly. He added, programming is going to be a big target for generative AI, Griffin said when asked by an intern about AI's impact on Citadel. You want to make sure that if you are a software engineer, you are putting yourself really close to the domain problems that need to be solved. Your career path will be defined by your ability to solve problems. The days of I'm a good programmer are becoming numbered. This is very accurate. It's so crazy to see how over the past couple years, everyone was saying, hey, if you want to get in on the new wave of what the job space is, you need to learn computer programming. So many computer programming positions. And now we're seeing another wave coming where generative AI could have a huge impact on the amount of computer programming positions are out in the market, because generative AI can pump out those lines of code faster than any other programmer could, and all you really need is someone at the helm who understands computer programming in order to ensure that the code is correct. And so, how much of the market needs to be impacted in order for it to really have a serious impact. When it comes to the lawyer space, I think companies and organizations like LegalZoom, organizations like Grammarly, and all these different companies are up for a run for their money, because ChatGPT can do in seconds with no hoops to jump through what you would have to pay monthly and get and go through hoops for services and all this kind of stuff to get done from those from stuff like that. So like, for instance, like with Grammarly, you have to go through all of their service fees, a blah, 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 a paywall to get there. The free version of ChatGPT, you can throw your essay in and get, basic, like here's how to increase or enhance the reading level of your essay. Here's how you fix all your grammar errors and all this stuff and spelling. It all does it in seconds at the free version. So, it's going to have an impact for sure, but on the broader scale markets, people saying it's going to take all these kinds of jobs, there's no way. Even in that article we read about it taking certain jobs and making them obsolete, it lists in there finance, and it's just I don't see that happening. I just don't see it happening. And even in the video, we disagree with it too, because with the hallucination aspect of it, and even just where the tech's at, I just don't think that that's going to be something that people aren't. It's like you're not going to have an accountant anymore, or even a tax person. It's like, nah, there's no way. Not right now. So I do think a lot of this is hype, and all these people talking about the extinction of humanity and the world is going to end because of AI and all this stuff. I don't think any of that's accurate right now. I think that they have created something, and I that could be a useful tool. That's generative AI, and I think behind closed doors they have some sort of AGI, real actual AI that they're trying to work on, but I don't think they're as close as they're saying. And so I think where generative AI can get dangerous is people not understanding the hallucinations aspect to it, people not understanding, what it actually does and how it actually works, and then that making an impact in the market. There was an issue recently where they do believe that someone who released a photo of the Pentagon being attacked on Twitter actually caused a bump in the stock market. That happened, I think, just a couple months ago. I want to say actually a couple weeks ago. I think it was pretty recent. If you Google search it, you'll see it. I haven't seen the photo itself, but the panic that was caused by someone just messing around and releasing a photo like that was created by generative AI platform, caused a bump in the stock market. It's things like that we're already starting to see, small little issues like that. And all it really takes is one news organization to share something stupid created by a generative AI to cause panic or to fool people into doing something that they would regret doing later. Coming up around election time, there's all these question marks of what's about to happen. And I do think that that's where this stuff is going to be affected, which it's on a personal note, it's just so funny to listen to these people like Mark Zuckerberg and all these people talk about, they want to make their dent in the universe. That's a Steve Jobs quote, to be transparent, but still the same principle. Like, they want to change the world, they want to impact the market. So you're going to see someone like using generative AI, Sam Altman talking about that, and then it just turns out it's being used to sway elections. So, thanks guys, good job, great impact on the world you're making. Thanks a lot. So those are things that is potential of happening with using the power of generative AI. But Griffin's Tuesday comments come on the heels of a June 1st report that nearly 4,000 tech workers lost their jobs to AI in May. See, the sector this year has had the most year-to-date layoffs since the 2001 dot-com bubble burst. The most year-to-date layoffs since the 2001 dot-com bubble burst. Wow. 4,000 tech workers lost their jobs to AI. So there you go. And that's probably all linked to computer programming. IBM is already planning to pause hiring for non-customer facing roles that can be automated. I could easily see 30% of that getting replaced by AI and automation over a 5-year period, the tech company CEO Arvind Krishna said in a May 1st interview. We talked about that. Jensen Huang predicted that AI would cause a rebirth of the computing industry, and like Griffin said that early career workers could avoid layoff by integrating the tech into their work as quickly as possible. Citadel is currently negotiating to get a company-wide ChatGPT license, and has said in the past that the tool will automate many tasks at the hedge fund. Peng Zhao, CEO of Citadel Securities, the market maker that parallels Griffin's Citadel Hedge fund, has also expressed plans to integrate the AI into his company's workflow, being liberated from the repetitive mental laboring aspect of what we have to do as humans that allows humans to focus upon the highest value portion of planning, Zhao said at a conference in May. See, that's really interesting that these guys are embracing it. People like Griffin are embracing it, but he's basically saying that white collar jobs are it's being exaggerated, and I think there's areas of exaggeration. I think the conversations around tech causing extinction and mass hypnosis and all this kind of stuff is exaggerated as well. Where I think generative AI can be dangerous is, like I said, the Twitter example. We're already seeing it, and really it comes down to on the basis of news organizations not being transparent, news organizations not operating in integrity, and knowing that they're spreading false information, knowing that they're spreading hype, posting something like that, like what happened on Twitter, and it causing people to make decisions that they're going to regret, or causing like mass panic. And so that's where we're going to see tech like this really have a negative impact in the market, in my opinion. I mean, I think it's coming. I think we have multiple news organizations that already have proven to not be operating at the highest levels of integrity. And so, it's only a matter of time before they do something really, really stupid, which has already kind of been played out. As far as work and jobs, yeah, I think right now you're going to continue to see mass adoption from a tech basis, from companies that are more focused on documentation, the areas where it really helps. I like, even at the lowest level, here where I'm located at, in a very small town, I've heard of people within local government, people within banks and different things adopting ChatGPT for various different things out that are not necessarily being adopted by the company or doing anything that's really high profile in the company, but various things like letter writing, emails, drafting documents, reports, all that kind of stuff. They're running it through ChatGPT, and it's making their jobs much easier. But that's being adopted on an employee level. It's not so much being adopted by the company. So we'll see how it plays out. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. I thought this was really interesting. It's really interesting to get another very well-known figure, not so much in the space of tech, but as far as hedge fund, he's got something to add there, come out and say that the AI hype is not that great. Check out another video we did earlier on where we had an actual AI expert come out and talk about how dumb a generative AI actually is, dumb in the sense of intelligence wise, and how it's not what you think it is, and maybe because of that it could be much worse than what you think. So anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching this far. Please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. It helps with the algorithm, and I will catch you guys in the next one.